everyone, this is Fantasy Ask, and welcome back to Season 2 of Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had a very tragic death in the grotto that kind of changed the trajectory of, I'm pretty sure, the clan's future. Quill Runner unfortunately died. He had a bite wound that he received from a dog in one of the previous patrols that he went on. He had been recovering for a few moons, but unfortunately he was unable to overcome that, and he succumbed. And this whole time I wasn't even expecting it, because I don't know, some part of me was holding out the hope that he was going to be okay. We even had like a female brought in for him. He was paired up. He was gonna be the one to have the next litter. His family is pretty much like the main, I feel like his family is essentially the main family we've been following. His mother, Flare Freckle, being the central focus, and then everyone she's related to. So I was really, really excited to see Flare Freckle actually become a grandparent, because, she lost Frostpate not too long ago. And then it was just her and Quill Runner, and then of course her brothers, Shining Stripe and Bear Pelt, who have successfully had their own kittens. And I was kind of excited for her to finally be a grandparent, but no, we did not get that done. Now, with his death, his mate, who was Flower, she was one of the 7 members who were elevated to the status of nobility. She was cast out, back to servant clan, stripped of her status. And then the queen made a new match between, where is he? Foxclaw, who's down by the warrior's den, and Fierce Tooth, who is the daughter, I'm pretty sure, of Shining Stripe. So Flare Freckle's niece has been paired up with Foxclaw as, the new match, and the clan is expecting a litter from them. And the clan, they're trying to recover. They are trying to move forward. It is also a kind of bittersweet time, because the youngest kittens that we have, I think Bear Pelt's children, Bear Pelt and Hemlock? Bear Pelt and Hemlock's children, they are actually apprentices now. So we have 3 new royal apprentices that are kind of all scattered throughout the grotto. We're going to take a look at them. But let's go ahead and see what everyone gets up to today, guys. So it is the first turn of Leaffall. We are at Moon 114. The Leader's Den is doing quite well so far under Queen Rainstar. Let's go to events and see what's been happening over here. Royal Clan does not have enough healthy royal physicians. Cats will be sick/hurt for longer and have a higher chance of dying. Bear Pelt is free of fleas at last. Ink Feather has healed from her cat bite. I was very worried about that, given the death we had with the dog bite for Quill Runner, but thankfully she is okay. Lionpaw fidgets impatiently beside Fierce Tooth as he waits for the meeting to end. He's finally an apprentice. He wants to hurry up and get out there and go, go, go. And then, as Lotus Paw touches noses with Bear Pelt, he hopes he'll get to do something that will really impress the clan on his first day. Maybe he could catch a big fat rabbit or chase off a fox. That'll show the clan he's the best apprentice anyone's ever seen. So there we go. And then finally, this one has a bit of a change. Scorchpaw had been waiting for this moment. He'll finally be a mediator apprentice and be guided by Inkfeather to solve the clan's issues, his one goal in life. Now, as you guys know, I don't play with the mediator or the medicine cat apprentices. In this case, the royal physician or the matchmaker. All my apprentices are warrior apprentices. So the way I'm going to interpret this for Scorchpaw is that Inkfeather probably saw a lot of potential in Scorchpaw, and she was kind of hoping that, if she was still a warrior, she could have taken him on as an apprentice. But unfortunately, because she serves in the Queen's Court, and she's one of the lower ranking members of the Queen's Court, she cannot take on an apprentice to train. And again, this change, I think, is a little bit recent for her, because up until Quill Runner's death, this is another thing that Quill Runner's death has changed. Up until his death, Inkfeather was not a member of the Queen's Court, because the Queen's Court had Flower, who was Quill Runner's mate. And so maybe with that in mind, Inkfeather this whole time was hoping to train Scorchpaw for herself. But then, last minute, over the last moon, suddenly Coolrunner died, Flower was exiled, and then Inkfeather was brought back into the queen's court, and so she's no longer a warrior, she can no longer train. So that's kind of like her wishful thinking. But okay, the youngsters, let's take a look at them. So we have Lionpaw over here, who is the oldest of the three. He is childish, quick to help, and he has been mentored to Fiercetooth, or apprenticed to Fiercetooth. And Lionpaw, I think the reason why Queen Rainstar decided on this particular pairing is because, Fiercetooth is the queen's daughter. She has no prior experience with apprentices, and she is insecure, but I think the queen feels that Lionpaw being childish is going to be a good challenge for Fiercetooth, and she wants her daughter to use this chance to kind of hone herself as a mentor and as a warrior. So this is supposed to be a challenge for Fiercetooth. So that's what we have over there. Now, the second apprentice in this particular batch or litter, we have Lotus Paw, who is bloodthirsty, and quick to help. So it seems as though the queen has decided that Lotus Paw's father, Bearpelt, is going to be the best mentor for him. One, because, Bearpelt being the parent is going to be a lot more understanding of his child's tendencies, but also because Bearpelt is shameless, and I think out of all the cats, he's probably going to be like the most unbothered by all the oddities that Lotus Paw might have in his behavior. So there is that. And then finally we have Scorchpaw, who Inkfeather wanted to train, but instead has been assigned to Shining Stripe. So Scorchpaw over here is oblivious. He's quick to help and a picky nest builder. I love how all of the siblings, like Bearpelt's children, are quick to help. I think that's really nice. But he is being mentored to his uncle. Actually, hold on. Lionpaw is being mentored to his cousin, I'm just realizing, because Fiercetooth is his cousin, which is kind of cool. His older cousin. Maybe that's another reason why Rainstar felt maybe it would be, easier for Fiercetooth to control her cousin. We'll see. But again, I don't think she thought it was easy. That's the whole reason she paired them up. But yeah, Scorchpaw, he's being paired to his uncle Shining Stripe, who is righteous. So I kind of get the feeling that Shining Stripe in this particular, relationship, Shining Stripe knows right from wrong. He knows exactly what needs to be done and how. Scorchpaw, I think, kind of turns off his brain when he's with his uncle and just listens to whatever his uncle tells him. Like whatever Shining Stripe says to do, Scorchpaw just nods his head and goes ahead and does it. He doesn't have to think too much about figuring out his own solutions because Shining Stripe has everything worked out for him. So that's kind of what we have for the youngsters, which is pretty cool. I also love that Fiercetooth and Shining Stripe are going to be mentors together, like father and daughter, within the same batch. Like colleagues in the same batch makes me so happy when we see links like that. But okay, that's what we have for the age ups with the apprentices. Let's check up. Okay. Icicle, Speck, and Ghost Feather, they're still down. Let's go to the Medicine Cat Den real quick. So Ghost Feather has that broken bone. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about whether or not Ghost Feather is gonna survive his broken bone. These things are not good. The cat bite. Inkfeather survived the cat bite, and now all that's left is her son. I seriously hope he gets out of this okay, because I don't want to have another death. And then Icicle Speck is grief-stricken, and Garlic Glow is grief-stricken. Obviously with Coolrunner's death. Okay, so let's see. Icicle Speck was given Thyme as treatment for grief-stricken. Bearpelt was given Plantain as treatment for fleas, and then he recovered from that. Inkfeather was given Tansy as treatment for catbite, and then she healed thankfully. Ghost Feather was given Cobwebs as treatment for broken bone. He's still at risk of death. Garlic Glow was given Juniper as treatment for grief-stricken. Now let's go ahead and check up on the relationships. Icicle Speck dispels a bad rumor about Lotus Kit. Icicle Speck gets a bunch of cats off morning stretches and they don't like it. Icicle Speck thinks about how Fiercetooth is always reliable. Shining Stripe is telling a story to Hemlock. Shining Stripe was flattered by Cinnamon Tail's politeness this morning. Queen Rainstar tells Flare Freckle that she was worried for her. Yeah, I think the Queen realizes what a ripple Quillrunner's death has sent through the clan, you know, especially with Flare Freckle, probably starting from Flare Freckle. So she's probably wanting to check in on her. Flare Freckle notices that her niece, Fierce Tooth, always gets better fresh kills to eat. Okay, now's not the time to be jealous, but you know what? It is. I think maybe she sees her niece eating and she thinks that only last moon that was Quillrunner. Only a couple moons ago that was, you know, Quillrunner, and he's not here anymore. Queen Rainstar is upset after spending the day with Bearpel's bad attitude, and she still assigned him as one of the mentors. Maybe she was hoping that Bearpelt mentoring his own son is going to be good enough punishment for him. I don't know. Bearpelt and Lion Kit bond over something small. I'm pretty sure Lion Kit is like Bearpelt's favorite son, so that's cute. Inkfeather overhears Flare Freckle saying something nice about her. Inkfeather, Icicle Speck, and Fierce Tooth took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Lion Kit brings Inkfeather herbs from the medicine den for a headache. Foxclaw and Queen Rainstar keep making each other yawn. Foxclaw learns that Scorch Kit has been using him for something. Ghostfeather didn't realize how generous Scorch Kit could be. Ghostfeather confesses something to Fierce Tooth but realizes she can't relate at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ghostfeather does hate her. Freezefur includes Flare Freckle in a conversation that Flare Freckle struggled to join. Freezefur thanks Fierce Tooth for covering for him during a patrol earlier. Garlic Glow tries to find River Whistle to apologize for something, but finds him playing with a clanmate. Garlic Glow thinks Scorch Kit has interesting things to talk about. Queen Rainstar overheard Lotus Kit spreading a hurtful rumor. Queen Rainstar swaps favorite prey with Ghostfeather. Now Lotus Kit, yeah, is the bloodthirsty one, and she had a bad interaction with Bearpelt, and then she ended up pairing Lotus Kit and Bearpelt, so I wonder if that was also supposed to be like, you two are each other's punishment, like sort yourselves out. Nobody else has to deal with you. A clanmate claims that Cinnamon Tail wants Hemlock dead. That's a bit of a drastic declaration. River Whistle and Queen Rainstar chat about clan news. Hemlock gave Lotus Kit a trinket she found while out of the camp today. That's actually really cute. She's going ahead, like, spending some time with his son. But I'm pretty sure Lotus Kit is the middle forgotten child, so actually, is it a surprise he ended up bloodthirsty? I mean, and he wants to be, like, the best apprentice. Maybe he is motivated to do that because, you know, he wants to stand out. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm pretty sure Scorch Kit is Hemlock's favorite child. Hemlock asks Cinnamon Tail about a certain rule of the warrior code that she forgot. Cinnamon Tail squashes a bug that Fierce Tooth was watching. Lion Paw points out a constellation to Lotus Kit, and then we have the apprentice ceremonies. When Lotus Paw asked Ghostfeather for help, Ghostfeather ignored him, and then a clanmate accuses Scorchpaw of copying one of Shining Stripe's jokes, which is not a good start to the fact that Scorchpaw is apprenticed to Shining Stripe. Well, that is all we have events, so let me wrap up over here and we'll move on to the cat list. Okay, let's take a look at the cat list. A quick reminder on our loyalties over here. Now, we don't actually have any major changes to report in terms of relationships. I literally noticed nothing across the cats. I think everyone is probably too shaken up by the fact that Quillrunner passed away and all these changes happened with, you know, Fierce Tooth and Foxclaw. This is not what everyone was expecting, and no one, I think, is like in the mood to really give each other any sort of time. Everyone's kind of just lost in their heads. So since we don't have that to do, let's jump over to Inkfeather, our matchmaker, and see if we can have a matchmaking session with Foxclaw and Fierce Tooth. So Foxclaw has already befriended Fierce Tooth, but she's, you know, a little bit more restrained, probably because, you know, she is insecure. So let's have a look. Okay, that was good. So respect, romance increased, dislike decreased. Foxclaw is looking at Fierce Tooth, thinking she's a very fine cat, and I think he really does. I think appreciate, because he's sneaky. In a lot of ways, I feel like Foxclaw has almost kind of, like with this whole situation, I think he would find it a little bit thrilling, because it's almost as though he has snuck his way into being able to have a litter of his own by virtue of Cool Runner's death, which obviously wasn't planned. And he got paired up with this really beautiful cat, Feasttooth, that I think he kind of, you know, feels strangely intrigued by. He's used to being pursued, but in this case, with her being a more insecure cat, he has to kind of be more bold. Even with the coloring of their coats, you know, she's got a more kind of subdued coat color, I feel like, and he's got a more bold and vibrant color, and I feel like to him, it's as though he is in control, and he very much enjoys that. Because it's a little bit different to maybe what he's been used to in the past. So things are going well. He's looking at her and he's kind of liking her as a mate for, you know, him to have a litter with. And then with Feasttooth, she kind of likes the fact that Foxclaw is taking the lead. I think she appreciates that, because when she's kind of unsure of what to do or how to do things, she just has to, you know, follow in his paw steps, and it makes things a lot easier and comfortable, which I'm glad for. So things are going well with the two of them. Now let's go ahead and just see what everyone is doing for the day. Queen Rainstar is unsure of her clanmate's confidence in the safety of a royal clan. Yeah, I think especially given all of the attacks we've had recently, I think we had like a rat bite, we had dog bites, like 2 dog bites, or, you know, dog bite, a broken bone, a cat bite, all so close together. So I think everyone's a little bit more wary right now. Hemlock cleans the clearing of fallen leaves. Icicle Speck almost choked on his prey. Inkfeather defends her friend against a rumor. Shining Stripe is glad it's not so hot out anymore. Flare Freckle worries about the lack of prey Leaf Bear will bring. Bear Pelt brags about how great a hunter he is. Of course he does. And I feel like this is especially because, I mean, his son and apprentice, Lotus Paw, was very excited to kind of get out there and draw blood on his first patrol, and he wants to kind of hunt down a rabbit or a fox. So, yeah, I think Bear Pelt, he's trying to be on the same wavelength as his son right now. Ghostfeather is chattering at the birds in the trees above. Foxclaw can't find Lotus Kit anywhere. Freezefur tries to set a good example for younger cats. Cinnamon Tail so too like petting a loner. River Whistle is fetching Garlic Glow for another cat who is looking for her. Feasttooth can't wait to take a nap later. Scorchpaw is crushing leaves under his paws, so he's actually helping out the royal physician, which is kind of nice of him. Because the royal physician, I mean, it's Icicle Speck, but yeah, that is very nice, because the royal physician is not feeling too well. Linepaw makes immature jokes all day, leaving everyone else rolling their eyes. Yeah, Feasttooth is definitely going to have her hands or paws full with her younger cousin Linepaw. Lotus Paw draws blood during battle training and coldly says it was an accident. Bear Pelt is gonna, you know, quickly kind of overlook that. Garlic Glow is glad it's not so hot out anymore. And who are you hanging out with, Garlic Glow? You are hanging out with Shining Stripe, which is interesting. Garlic Glow and Shining Stripe, but okay. And that is all we have for what everyone's doing for the day. Really quickly, I want to check out the experience, not for the apprentices, because we're not going to get an idea until next moon, but I want to see the mentors they have and experience in regards to that, and who might have an advantage. So it seems as though Scorchpaw actually has an advantage because his mentor, Shining Stripe, despite not being a prince, is the most experienced, and that is pretty cool. He might be able to guide Scorchpaw really well, especially because he has had like 2 former apprentices. Quill Runner was his former apprentice. Oh my goodness. He's got a bit of a legacy. So yeah, that would be good for Scorchpaw. So Scorchpaw, even though, you know, I mean, he is oblivious, but like, I think we talked about this very early in the video, but Shining Stripe has everything worked out and Scorchpaw just has to follow his instructions. So things are kind of easy in that way. And then we have Bear Pelt with Lotus Paws kind of in the middle. He has only had one former apprentice in Frostfade. That's right, these two brothers, they trained both of Flare Freckle's sons, so they're nephews. And then the one with the kind of least advantage is Lion Paw, because Fierce Tooth does not have any experience with apprentices. So if Lion Paw is going to get ahead, Lion Paw is going to have to be self-motivated, but he's quite childish, so I don't know really how that's going to go for him. Okay, well, with that said and done, let's wrap up over here and move on to patrols. Let's continue with our patrols. We currently have 116.7 prey. We need 43.4, so we're really good for food. We obviously don't have a royal physician that is going to be able to go out with us. So let's just go ahead and see what everyone gets up to. We're going to have, let's see, I think, oh, we have a lot of cats. We're going to have 2 patrols of 6 and a patrol of 1. That's going to be exciting. So first up, let's have a look. Yeah, Fierce Tooth has decided to stick very close to her apprentice Lion Paw. And Shining Stripe has decided that he wants Bear Pelt to actually supervise Scorch Paw. Even though, you know, Bear Pelt hasn't been, like, he's not Scorch Paw's mentor, I think Shining Stripe feels as though Scorch Paw needs the first kind of patrol to be under the watch of his father, supervision of his father. That's going to be the most beneficial for him. So that's kind of interesting. And then we have Hemlock over here, the mother of the 2 new apprentices, or, you know, the 3 new apprentices, but we have Hemlock and then Freezeva. So let's see how they go. The patrol, I think Lotus Paw would be so jealous of his brothers right now, because he literally wanted to fight a fox in his first patrol, and then the patrol he is not assigned to ends up, like the one with his brothers, they end up fighting the fox. He's gonna be so jealous. But okay, the patrol catches the scent of a fox, but is it red or grey? Tracking it, they find their red enemy feeding on a deer fawn carcass. It's impossible to say whether the fox killed it or found it. Proceed. The patrol fails to drive away the fox, which keeps possession of the food. However, with so many cats to protect each other, there are no injuries. A very small amount of prey is brought to camp. Even though they could not win against the fox, they would go back, they would share the stories of Lotus Paw. He would be absolutely envious that he wasn't in that patrol, and I am absolutely confident that he would believe if he was in the patrol, they would have defeated the fox. Okay, now we have 133.7 food. Now let's see what the next patrol is gonna be. Okay, so it seems as though Shining Stripe and Bear Pelt have kind of swapped apprentices for the first patrol, and Shining Stripe is gonna be directly supervising Lotus Paw. Yeah, maybe he felt a strong sense of, you know, like, Bear Pelt, your son, your middle son is very bloodthirsty, and I think I need to kind of lay down the law in the very beginning and teach him right from wrong before you kind of take over. And then we have Cinnamon Tail, Flare Freckle, Queen Rainstar, and Foxclaw on this patrol, so let's see what they get up to. As the patrol crunches through the dead leaves littering the woods, Flare Freckle explains an idea she had for squirrel hunting. It sounds a little strange, but perhaps it could work. Proceed. Flare Freckle suggests baiting the squirrels with food and picking them off when they come out to eat. It's pretty tedious, and they end up having to move a few times, but it does work, and the patrol heads home with a decent amount of prey. So a medium amount of prey is brought to camp. He did manage to get some hunting done, even though it wasn't exactly what he wanted. It wasn't the battle he was hoping for, but you know, that's okay. Now we have 176.9 food, and finally, River Whistle is going out on a patrol on his own. So let's see what he gets up to. Okay. River Whistle tracks the scent of a large dog, wandering along the edge of the clan's territory. What is up with our clan and coming across all these dogs? Like, why all the dogs? Why? The royal clan, like, the forest has been very safe. And, like, this whole time, it's been a very, very safe place. But suddenly, that is not the case. Proceed. I kind of knew this was gonna happen. He was alone! How could he have survived? River Whistle would give his life to protect Royal Clan. As he leads the huge dog away from the clan, in his heart, he accepts that's what he's doing. As darkness closes in around him and the dog's jaws descend again, River Whistle tries to sink his claws into its face and hopes desperately that he led it far enough. River Whistle! No! River Whistle died. No, River Whistle. I'm so sad. Cinnamon Tail, we just lost your brother. We just lost your brother, Cinnamon Tail. Oh no. He was such a pretty cat too. I know Cinnamon Tail was my favorite of the two, but he was such a pretty cat, darn it. Oh, River Whistle, you died too young. You died too young. Oh my goodness. One death after another. One death after another. And in terms of experience, the youngsters, they've only just gained one experience. From the next moon, we're going to be able to tell who's kind of ahead, who's falling behind. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.